Hey guys, in the last video we set up our application and all its dependencies. We set up the app.js file, which has all the middleware and so on. So make sure you get that done. And now what we'll do is start to set up our views. Alright, so inside the views folder we're going to create a new file and save it as index.ejs for embedded JavaScript. Okay, so that'll be basically our home page or our dashboard. Alright, we're also going to create a file called login.ejs and register.ejs. And let's create a folder inside the views folder called includes. And then inside there we're just going to have a header.ejs and a footer. Okay, so we can get the file creation out of the way. And I'm just going to close those for now. Alright, so one by one, let's open up index.ejs. I'm just going to say index page. And let's go to index.js, which is in the routes folder, and we're going to change this from res send to res render index. Okay, so now if we go and reload, you can see we get the index page. Okay, same thing with the other, with the users routes. I'm going to change this to render, login, and register. Alright, so we should now be able to render. Whoops, should be users. Let's see, that should be, oh, I didn't add anything to it. Okay, reload, there we go. Register, there we go. Alright. So now that we have those, let's start to build our interface. Okay, we're going to be using Bootstrap. So let's go to getbootstrap.com. And let's see, we want to first add our header code. So in header.ejs, inside includes, I'm just going to switch this to HTML. Okay, we'll put some standard HTML tags. I'm going to get rid of the ending body and HTML tags because those are going to go in the footer. Alright, and then title, we'll say passport app. Okay, and let's save that. And then in the footer, we're going to have the body and HTML end tags. Close that up. Alright, now for Bootstrap, we installed Bootstrap using npm. So what we're going to do is go to our app.js file right under where we put the static folder. And we want to set a static path for the Bootstrap CSS file. Alright, so this is pretty easy. We're just going to say app.use. And let's pass in /CSS. And then we want express.static. And pass into there double underscore dir name. And then the path to the Bootstrap CSS file, which is /node modules /bootstrap /dist/css. Alright, so we'll save that, and now we should be able to go to our header.ejs and say link rel style sheet, and then point to /CSS bootstrap.min.css. Alright, so we'll save that. Now the font should change. Let's see, we get an error. Alright, let me make sure. Make sure there's not a syntax error. Oh yeah, this shouldn't be a comma. This should actually be a plus sign because we're concatenating that. Alright, so save that. And we need to include the header in our index, actually in all of our views. So right up here, we're going to put in less than percent hyphen and then include slash header. Okay, so that's the header. We also want the footer at the bottom. Alright, and let's do that in the login page as well as the register. Okay, so now you can see the fonts changed, so Bootstrap is now working. Now let's go to Get Bootstrap, and if we go to Getting Started and then Examples, you'll see that there is a login template right here, a sign-in page. Let's click that, and then Control U. Now this has its own CSS file in addition to Bootstrap right here, signin.css. So what I'm going to do is click that. We're going to grab this, and we're going to create a custom CSS file. Okay, so let's create a folder called public, and inside public, whoops, we want to create another folder called CSS, and then inside there we'll create a file, paste in that code, and save it as style.css. Alright, and then we just have to add that to the header. Alright, and then we'll go back to that template source code, and we're going to grab from this container to the ending container div. Okay, we'll copy that. Let's go to login EJS and paste that in right here. Okay, we'll save it, and if we go to our front end to the login page, it should look like that. Alright, now for some reason the background isn't changing. If yours is still white like that and you want it to be gray, just go to the style CSS and just add important right here. Okay, for some reason that needs important to actually show the gray. Alright, so let's change this markup a little bit inside the login. First thing I'm going to do is the title here, please sign in. I'm going to change that to user login, and I want it aligned in the center, so I'm going to add the class text center, which is a Bootstrap class. Okay, now we're not using an email address to log in, we're going to have a username, so let's change this here to username, and let's see, we can get rid of the ID. Actually, what we're going to do is change it to a name attribute, and that'll be username. Placeholder, we can also change that, and now we have password, and we can get rid of these 4 attributes too. I just want to cut this down as much as we can. Okay, so password, that's good. This will be name, password. Okay, this checkbox, we don't need it. This whole div right here. I'm going to change this to HTML. Alright, so that looks good. Let's put a line break right here, and let's save that. Alright, so that looks good. Now we want a link here to go to the register page. If the person doesn't have an account, they need a way to go to the register page. So we're going to go right above the button, and we'll put in a paragraph. And let's say no account. and that's going to go to /users/register. Alright, so that looks good. Let's click register. That goes to the reg page. Now what I'm going to do is copy this whole thing that we just did and go to register EJS and paste that in there. Okay, let's start at the heading here. We'll change this to, we'll say user registration. Alright, and let's see, we're going to copy from the label to the BR, and let's paste that right here, and then another one under it. This first one's going to be name, type will be text, name will be name. Actually, you know what, that should be text here for both of these as well. Okay, on the login page too, let's change that. Alright. Alright, so we have our name. We'll change the placeholder to name. This next one will be email. Okay, so we got name, email, username, password, and then we want password 2. Okay, name will be password 2. Placeholder will say password confirm. Alright, and then this paragraph is going to say, we'll say have account, and then this will be login, and we'll change this to login. That way we can switch back and forth. Alright, so there's our registration, so we can switch back and forth from those two pages. Okay, now for the index page, we're going to go back to Get Bootstrap. And for the examples, we're going to go to this right here, starter template, and do a Control U, and we're just going to grab from this nav tag down to the container. Alright, and we'll go into views, index, and paste that in. Alright, we're going to change a couple things. We're going to get rid of the navbar fixed top class. We're going to change the project name to passport app. Okay, for the list items here, I'm going to get rid of these two and then change home to log out and get rid of the active class, and we might as well add the link here, which will be users/logout. And let's see, I think that's good. Actually, this UL right here, I'm just going to add a class navbar right so that it floats to the right, and then down here we'll change this H1, we'll just say members area. Alright, so we'll save that. Let's take a look. Now we have this space at the top. That's because if we go to our style CSS, we have body and we have padding top and bottom 40 pixels. Let's go ahead and cut that out. And we're going to just put that in. Actually, let's keep that out and see what the other pages look like. Okay, that fixes that. But if we go to users, login, I guess that's fine. Yeah, that's good. Alright, so now we have our 3 pages. We have the UI done as far as how it looks. In the next video, we're going to take care of the user registration. Okay, we want to be able to submit all these fields, and we want them to validate and then submit the user. Alright, so I will see you in the next video.